As with all large-scale events on campus, the Virginia Tech Rescue Squad was responsible for the planning and implementation of all EMS operations for the duration of the Metallica concert on May 7, 2025. In addition to real-time footage from day of stadium operations, this video will cover the full lead-up to the VTRS taking EMS command of one of the largest and loudest events in Virginia Tech history.
So they announced that we were going to be hosting Metallica in the fall, I think around October, November time. We started really heavily recruiting for our outside help around January, and then that process honestly continued until about a month out in April, just really making sure that we had our outside people coming and that we were comfortable with where our members were staffed.
One of our big things was that we weren't exactly sure how this event was going to go in terms of patient contacts, because there hasn't been something like this in this area before, so we didn't have a lot to compare to it. So we made the decision that we were going to do our best to staff the highest amount, highest level of care. This event happened in our first due. It was our responsibility to tell all of the stakeholders around us what was going on, so that if we were to call them during an event, they knew what was happening and how we wanted them to come in, so we were going to be ready to go. We were going to mitigate the fact that we were in a rural area that doesn't already have a lot of resources nearby.
Real quick, the Bravo division is our field division for the Metallica concert event. We staffed it similarly to what we would staff a section in the stands. At the beginning of it, we had 3 portal teams, 2 runner teams, and myself as the supervisor. And that was also attached to a tent, which we had out in the parking lot. This was a 10-bed tent, was staffed by a doctor, a paramedic, and some other folks that would be similar to our first aid rooms inside the stadium. We did this due to the expected number of patrons and expected number of patron contacts and patient contacts that we would have inside the field itself.
And the South Tent, which we called it, consisted of 10 cots, a bunch of medical supplies, and anything else you can really think of we had. And then in addition to that, just throughout the stadium, we had to equip all of our first aid rooms, all of our personnel with all sorts of extra supplies, and that includes vests and glow sticks to be more visible, and again, anything that you can think of that we're going to have to accommodate for at a concert versus a football game.
So typically for large events like football, we're able to get by with just sending out a comprehensive operations plan and doing a short briefing the day of. However, there were a lot of extra considerations for Metallica. It was a very logistically complex event. So we had everybody come in the night before. We did a 1-hour briefing where we went through the whole operations plan, our communications, where everybody was going to be. And then we broke up into groups. We had the field division do a walkthrough on the field through the concert venue so they knew where they were going. We had our paramedics go through the new drug box system that we've implemented. Yeah, our team internally really stepped up. There were a lot of moving pieces here, a lot more than a football game, and there were a lot of equipment things, a lot of vehicles things, a lot of just general operations and logistics things that needed to come together in order to make this event successful and in order to continue providing that service to the community. And I was really impressed by the team. Everybody, put in the extra hours. There were some pretty late nights, and everybody really came through.
So for the day of for this event, it started with us all meeting in one location at our station, and then eventually making our way over to the event. We head over, usually hours before the event begins, and we get everything ready. All of our teams are going to go to their specific staging locations. All the supervisors are going to go to their specific locations, and our dispatching staff is going to head up to the Lane Command Center. And one of the first things that's going to really mark the start of this event in terms of the public safety side is going to be when EMS command is established.
Similarly to football, the stadium is broken up into divisions. Within them, EMS personnel are spread out to cover all areas of the event. The EMS branch director, communications group supervisor, and dispatching team are stationed in the incident command center. From here, they dispatch calls directly to on-ground units and direct all operations within the stadium. The Charlie Division consists of the north and east stands and includes the E1 and E2 first aid rooms. The Delta Division consists of the west and south stands and includes their respective first aid rooms. Unique to Metallica operations, the Bravo Division consists of the field, tunnels, and south tent located in parking lot 2. Finally, the Alpha Division consists of the entire on-campus area outside of the stadium. Note that each division consists of their own designated supervisor. Supervisors oversee all operations within their division and handle radio traffic and communication with the incident command post, especially in high acuity situations. All in-stadium divisions have task force leaders who oversee specified first aid rooms and the teams that operate out of them. The medical units in each division include portal teams who have designated sections within which they are responsible for making first patient contact and general assessments. Runner teams are staged in the first aid room and are responsible for bringing the necessary equipment to transfer a patient to the first aid room. Additionally, each first aid room has advanced life support personnel who provide a higher level of care in the necessary cases. Note that for the Alpha Division, the medical units included a bike team, a critical care team, and a number of ambulances who staged in various points outside of the stadium. In addition, the Bravo Division included the utility task vehicle 158, which carried the necessary equipment and personnel needed for any high or low angle technical rescue response within the stadium. Let's take a closer look at the Bravo Division to simulate how a patient contact would be made. Staged in northwest was Bravo 1 runner, southwest Bravo 2 runner, northeast Portal Team Oscar, east of the stage Portal Team Papa, under the stage Portal Team Quebec, and the Bravo supervisor roamed the field as needed. In the case of a patient in the southeast corner, the incident command post would dispatch their location, demographics, and chief complaint to the appropriate units. In this case, Portal Team Papa and the Bravo supervisor. If further treatment was needed, the Bravo supervisor would relay to the incident command post to dispatch a runner team to their location. At this point, Bravo Runner 2 would bring a wheeled stretcher to the patient location, load them as safely as possible, and all 3 units would transfer them through the southwest tunnel and to the south tent. At the south tent, depending on the assessment of the TFL, the patient could stay until approved for safe release, or an ambulance could be dispatched via the incident command post to pick them up and bring them to the hospital. Either way, as soon as the patient is transferred into the care of the south tent, all field units would clear up and return to their staging locations. A similar flow of operations could occur in each division of the stadium in relation to the appropriate units and first aid rooms.
So when they establish EMS command, that essentially means that that command center up there kind of becomes a mini dispatching center. And that's where our teams are getting dispatched from. You get a very quick influx of a large amount of patients. They're using systems like CAD and VOC up there to keep track of all these patients. They are also ensuring the accountability for all of our teams out in the field. So they know exactly where all of our teams are, all of our ambulances are. A lot of them are being tracked by GPS. And they're running the various 4 radio channels at one time.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Alpha Control. All complete units, stand by for radio check. Alpha Super, all copy. Copy good. Critical care team, all copy. Critical care, good copy. Medic 157, all copy. Copy good. Medic 155, all copy. Copy good.
So TFL is a task force leader, so their main job is to basically lead the team that's working out of their first aid room and then report that up to the supervisor. So kind of in the chain of command, it would be like supervisor, TFL, and then people under that TFL. So for E1, we had 2 ALS members, 1 a medic and 1 an advanced EMT, and then we had about 8 BLS staff working out of our first aid room.
Bravo Super, portal team, go back. Go for Bravo Super. We have a walk-up patient near the PSB. He's going to be closest to Rescue 158, his rescue truck. He's a 48-year-old male who passed out. We were flagged down by bystanders. We have the Rescue 158 crew coming over to take some vitals. I will update you with any further information I have. Bravo Super copy. Break. Bravo Control. Did you copy? Total Team Quebec report. Bravo Control, direct.
We have a good idea how many transports are going to be happening at once based on the priority of patients in the first aid rooms. So we can treat patients in the first aid rooms. We can reserve the trucks for those super critical patients that need to go to the hospital right away. And then we can have a truck cycle in and be planned to pick up a low priority patient as needed after receiving physician level pre-hospital care in our first aid room. So that's a really cool thing about the treat and release program. It takes the burden off the hospitals, a burden off the need for ambulances, which can be very difficult to get in a rural region like this. And it gets the best level of quick, adequate patient care for our patients. Our Alpha Division or our Transport Division, it's really cool how they kind of run the transport trucks like one just big circle. They stage at a strategic location, pick up a patient. They're given a specific route that is open to them to go to the hospital. They drop off their patient. They are given a specific route to come back in a specific staging location so that they can quickly get back on the campus and miss the traffic. And then they're back in the same location or even a different location that they were before, ready to pick up another patient.
What was your initial reaction when you heard that we were going to host Metallica?
I was very excited. That band, and especially the Enter Sandman song, has a lot of meaning to this community. I knew the community was going to be very excited about it. I knew that my crew was also going to be very excited about it. So it was a really great opportunity to get to provide those services to make that day successful for the entire community. I know those ended up being a very special event. So EMS operations on the actual day of Metallica were quite successful. No operation that large goes off without a hitch. There's certainly a number of issues that we're going to address in our after-action review. But for the most part, it was very smooth. Teams did their job, focused on what they needed to do, and we were able to care for 93 patients in a timely manner.
Due to how close all the patrons were going to be to each other, due to how many people were going to be there, and due to how much it is a heavy metal rock concert. The history of that in the pit area has been there's a lot of movement, a lot of stuff going on. We upstaffed that to make sure we'll be able to handle all the calls there. And then in addition to it, we actually ended up getting another one of the portal teams from Delta Division and bringing them down into Bravo just to support the number of calls, because at a certain point we did run out of units in Bravo as we were having so many calls and so many patient contacts and getting them out. And beyond that, make sure they stayed in radio contact to the best of their ability. It's a rock concert, so that was kind of difficult at times. Some of the radio traffic was just me trying to yell into my hand mic, and from there, you just hear mostly the concert in the background. But just making sure that they were apprised of where they were at all times, and if they were going to a patient, just try to communicate through whatever means necessary. Our radios, we tried to use them for the most time, but there was also, some of us had better signal, or some of us had like the WPS, and so we were able to get calls out, so we were using that to the best of our ability between us, the EOC, just to make sure our situational awareness.
Alpha Control, critical care team. Critical care team, we need you and the technical rescue team to respond to section 111, section 111, reference to a possible cardiac arrest. Nothing further. Section 111,
So this event is the largest event that's come to Virginia Tech in quite a while. There were about 70,000 people in the stadium on the day of the Metallica concert. So after an event of this magnitude and an event that is this complex, we're always going to do an after-action review and look at the EMS operations, and especially our coordination and cooperation with assisting agencies and assisting departments here at Virginia Tech and in the county to see how we can improve in the future. So that involves gathering feedback from all our staff that worked the event, from all of our partner public safety agencies that helped us with the planning and that we worked with pretty closely, along with the actual event staff themselves. We do that, and then we go through and we talk about ways to improve in the future so that we're always continuing to provide a better service for the community.
I just think that the group that led this, there were so many different parts from different people, and I think that they did an amazing job with like such an immense ask, serving it well and really doing a good job with it.
Have a good morning, sir. Thank y'all for coming. We're happy to have you.